Hey guys, today we are playing some Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition. And I have a topic that I really want to talk about here. As you can see here, I played through Nero and Dante on human difficulty. I have beaten Nero and Dante's story on Devil Hunter on the original Devil May Cry 4. I have. I just want to make that clear. I have actually beaten Devil Hunter before on the original Devil May Cry 4. This is Special Edition, which I have on PC. The original Devil May Cry 4 I have on Xbox 360. I played human difficulty on this just simply because Nero is just... I just cannot understand how anyone can enjoy playing as Nero, personally. I do not enjoy playing as Nero. I'm just going to come out and say it. I think Nero is the most... he is one of the most insufferable characters to play as in a 3D beat-em-up. Like, my god, like this... I would much rather play as freaking... like, I'd much rather play as freaking V from Devil May Cry 5 than play as Nero. Like, I would much rather play as, like... I don't know. I'm much rather... I'm trying to think right now, what would be a good example for this? Like, what would be a good example of a character that is just... like, like, I'd much rather play Natto from 7 Samurai 20XX than play as Nero. I know it's crazy. Like, I really do not like how that character plays. Nothing against the character himself. Like, I mean, Nero himself as a character, I don't mind. At least in Devil May Cry 4. But playing as him is insufferable. Like, I just don't like his playstyle one bit. I don't like the exceed system, the whole timing mechanic to actually boost up his attacks just to make them stronger variants of his current attacks, and the lack of a style system, and because of that you have less flexibility and you have to make do with what you've got. I'm just not a fan of playing as him, and the biggest problem with Devil May Cry 4 is that you have to play as him. But in Special Edition, you get to play as these characters, which normally I would be playing as these characters because they're a lot more fun. I mean, a lot more fun to play than, yeah. But, for the sake of this, I'll play on Devil Hunter because I've done it before. But, yeah, I'm not playing any of the higher difficulties because I just want to actually just focus on the topic here. And, yeah, I've carried over the stats from, like, the previous difficulty. So, as you can see, like, I have all of that stuff, and I can just buy this now. Might as well buy it. But yeah, as you can see, like, I bought a lot of the stuff for Nero, so I don't know if his Exceed is, yeah, max act. I suck at max act. Items, I could still buy some blue orbs for him. No, I can't. So yeah, we're gonna start the first mission in the game, which is just gonna basically just be Nero fighting Dante, as you can see here. So, yeah, he does that sometimes. But yeah, anyways, the topic I wanted to talk about. God, this is why I hate Nero. Look at how slow he attacks. Just look at that. It's just like he's so unbelievably slow, whereas Dante is so fast and actually fun. Like, this is his best attack right here. Like, his best attack is the attack where he does this, because it has, like, it has AoE potential. Streaker is pathetic. Like, Streaker is just awful. I don't like the arm. I never did. I never liked his arm at all. I think his arm is just a stupid gimmick that he's just like, and it's worse than Devil May Cry 5. Everything about Nero is infinitely worse than Devil May Cry 5. It's just like, it's like they made me want to, it made me hate him more. Like they wanted to make Nero as unlikable as possible by trying too hard to make him likable. But that's basically what Devil May Cry 5 did with Nero. Like, they tried to make him more likable, and by doing that, they made him more unlikable. So, yeah, it's kind of funny how that works, isn't it? But yeah, so the topic I wanted to talk about here, this is a pretty big topic that I want to bring up, like, because like a lot of the topics that have been coming up for a lot of these videos have been just random topics that have like come up, but this topic I feel is more important in the grand scheme of things, because like this is something that's relevant to me more than anything out there, so I wanted to really focus on it. And it has to do with like the type of person I am and how I view things, and it also has to do with the gaming community and stuff. So yeah, like there's a lot of things that I want to say about the gaming community, and I've said a few things about the gaming community, but one thing I wanted to talk about was particularly the gaming community that is into like lore and stuff. That's what I'm mainly focusing on here, because I'm playing a game that is kind of relevant to it, because Devil May Cry 4 is a game that, well, not Devil May Cry 4 itself, but the game that predated Devil May Cry 4, Devil May Cry 5, well, the game that succeeds Devil May Cry 4, Devil May Cry 5, like the next game. Yeah, that game is definitely relevant, but Devil May Cry 4 is kind of, like, it's kind of relevant because it was what was before Devil May Cry 5 was a thing. So Devil May Cry 5 is like the continuation of Devil May Cry 4. So, considering that, like, I feel that it's relevant, because what I want to talk about is facts. Because I know that this is probably going to upset a few people, but I want to bring up just my thoughts on facts and anything fact-based. You know, people think about facts and they talk about how important facts are, like, and you see a lot of content creators who opt to make fact-based content, and fact-based content, it can often feel very sterile and like soulless. Not always, but it can feel that way. And like, it's not just that, but when you have when you only have facts, there's not really much else that you can get out of facts other than the facts themselves. There's no personalization that you can have from facts. They are just facts. You can't change them. You can't alter them. They are what they are, and that's it. What I'm trying to say here is that there's no fun in facts. Like, facts don't interest me. Facts are facts. You know, they are what they are. Obviously, they're going to be a thing, and there's going to be facts one way or another. And while I can accept the fact that there are going to be facts, I feel that people in the gaming community especially, but also in general, I feel that people overvalue facts. And they only look at facts. They only listen to facts. They don't look at anything else. They don't think about anything else. And I feel that, like, if you only look at facts, then you're not really getting the full picture that you think you're getting. Because it's very close-minded to only think about facts. Because you're not considering other possibilities. You're not considering other things. You're closing yourself off willingly just so that you can be right. Just so that you don't have to challenge the possibility of being wrong. And so many people do this. So many people obsess over the facts. But the thing about it is that obsessing over facts doesn't make you any smarter. It doesn't make you any better. It just means that you're insecure. It just means that you're not willing to challenge the truth. You're not willing to challenge the possibility of being wrong. You're not willing to take the chance to actually think for yourself rather then let others think for you. You just accept what's there. You just accept what other people are telling you. And you're just reading them like a Bible, like the gospel. But if you ask me, that's not a way to live. Like, could I live that way? No. I could never live that way. I've always been of the philosophy that you should always question everything. Everything people say, everything people do, everything. You should always question it. And always think for yourself. And I've also been of the belief that nothing is ever entirely wrong. I do believe that there is some right to most things. And to just kind of like say that someone is like wrong for saying something, or just brush things off as, oh, you're just wrong, or just say, like, basically just like completely discredit anything anyone says by saying that they're wrong. I feel that that is like the worst comeback you can ever have. I think that to say that someone is wrong in most cases is cowardly. I think the better way to say things is, have you considered this? Have you considered that? To actually open people up and make people feel differently, instead of telling them that they're wrong. You see this in politics, you see this in the gaming community when discussing like stuff in games and stuff, like law and stuff. You see it everywhere. There's no escaping this notion that proving people wrong by saying that they're wrong is going to like give you ego points or whatever the hell. But in actuality, there's no real value in doing that. Like, where value is not proving people wrong. It's opening people up and making people feel like they've learned something new. And for every person that makes an argument, like, only one in maybe 2,000 of those people actually open people's minds up and refine people's thoughts. Why? Because instead of actually producing something productive out of a debate, they instead decide to just pass everything off as the other person being wrong and just attacking that person's intelligence, which I believe is just cowardly, and so many people do it. And there's nothing productive about it. I feel that this goes into a lot of things. I feel that a lot of people seem to feel that they're the experts at everything, but they're not really willing to actually do the work. They're not actually willing to actually think for themselves, And you could argue that the same is true for people who talk about theories and stuff. Like, they're not doing the work because they're not fact-checking. And yeah, I will admit, there have been many times where I have said the wrong thing because I've said something that's factually incorrect, or made assumptions. Like, you could argue that. But the thing is, like, does it really matter in the grand scheme of things that I made an assumption? Doesn't that really matter? Or is it just like some meaningless thing that really has nothing to do with the message that I was trying to bring about? Is it just like a minor thing that no one really should pay any mind to? Or does it actually matter? Well, if you ask me, it doesn't matter. Because if you ask me, the only thing that matters is that I actually bothered to make videos on these topics and actually cover them. And actually ask the questions. Either that, or I ask the questions in discussions when talking to people. I actually challenge people, you know, to think for themselves instead of just listening to what people say and trapping themselves within other people's echo chambers, you know? I see it all the time where people will make the same arguments that, oh yeah, because a game reviewed higher than another game, it's better. Because IGN scored this game a 6,000 out of 10, it's like the best game ever, and you can't deny that fact, you know? Like, whenever I criticize a game, it's like, well, like, 7,000 people like this game, so it's obviously good. Like this game sold well, so it's obviously a good game. I don't care how well it sold. Like, that doesn't discredit anything that I say whatsoever. You know? If it sold well, that can mean a lot of things. It can mean that it attracts a wide demographic, and that's usually enough. I mean, video games in general, like, do people actually play video games? Do people actually think before they actually buy a video game on whether a game's actually going to be good? Do people actually wait for reviews before they actually play the game? No, they don't. Why? Because they're impatient. Most gamers are impatient and dumb, and they just want to just get their entertainment now without actually waiting and being patient, you know? They just want it now. And that mentality of wanting everything now is part of the problem with the gaming community, and it's part of the problem with gaming in general. And if you want everything now, you're never, ever going to learn your lesson. You know, if you're impatient, you're never ever going to be able to get the information that you need. You're always going to be in that trap forever. Because you chose to be impatient and you chose not to learn. So you can't think for yourself because you have nothing that you've learned to actually think for yourself. So you make dumb comments and you make dumb statements and you never learn. And there's so many people like this in the gaming community who refuse to learn, who refuse to take time out of their lives to actually think for themselves and actually, like, learn more about the games before they actually play them, actually listen to what people have to say before maybe picking up the game themselves and then making a more refined judgment themselves. Like, sometimes you can actually learn a lot just by watching other people's reviews or reading other people's reviews, and then you can look at things yourself and you might be able to see something that even the reviewer didn't see or didn't say. There's a lot of game reviewers that they can locate a problem, but they can't figure out what caused that problem in the first place or how you could solve that problem. And that's the interesting thing. There's so much that you can do if you actually decide that you're going to be patient, if you actually use patience for once and you don't God, this guy's a real pain in the neck. I'm not a fan of this boss at all. Like, this is one of the most annoying bosses in the series. Just going to say it. And it's probably the hardest part of this whole game. Like, this boss fight is harder than anything else in the game. I will definitely say it. But yeah, like, every time that people counter anything that I say, it's usually just ignorance and it's usually just some bullshit. And I saw it with like the World of Warcraft community and how they would just basically just say stupid shit like, oh, well, the game is super popular, so of course it's a good game. You know, it's just like people just make all these stupid excuses like that are just complete bullshit. Like, and it's just like they won't actually bring up an argument that's actually interesting. They'll just say, oh well, like this game sold so and so. That means it's good. That means it's good, and you're not allowed to hate it. It's like, bitch, I am allowed to hate it, and I'm allowed to say it as it is, you know. But this goes beyond that, because I feel that there's so much about video games that is not spoken about. And I feel that the one thing that people don't speak about, and a lot of people are actually guilty of this, is the open-endedness of video games. The hypothesis. The moments in games where you're left with questions. Like, play a game where at the end of the game, when you've finally beaten the game, what you're left with is more questions than answers. A lot of people, when they see stuff like that, they feel lost. They don't know what to do. They think, hang on a minute, this isn't really the resolution I wanted. You know, I just wanted the happy ending. I just wanted everything to be resolved. I just wanted, you know, like a resolution. I didn't want this open-ended ending where there's nuance and there's complications and like they don't actually tell you the whole story. They leave it up to you to figure it out or to make up your own mind. And the thing is, there are games out there that are like that. There's value to be had in theories. There's value to be had in theorizing things. There is. And I feel that people, like, they don't really, they don't seem to want to encourage theory crafting at all. They just want to talk about facts. But the thing about it is you can't have a discussion with facts. You can't. You can't have any interesting debate or interesting discussion with facts. Well, you can have a debate, but you can't have a discussion. Because what is there to talk about? Like, what can you talk about if it's just facts? What, you just make a statement? And that's it? Because what else can you do? One statement is right or wrong? Like, how about two people have two different takes on something and they can both be right? Those are the more interesting discussions, and I feel that when you leave things open like that, it opens you up to have discussions like that. And it's kind of like it makes like being in a community and being a fan so much better when the questions aren't answered. I think there's so much value in games that leave you with more questions than answers, because then you have so much to talk about, so much to think about. And there's a few games out there that really do that, and they do that really well. And I've always loved it. I mean, some games do it better than others. You know, some games make it too obvious. But some games don't. Like, I mean, Star Ocean 6 has things that are too obvious. I'm not going to say what they are, because you're either going to know it or you're not. But, yeah, like, Star Ocean 3, on the other hand, wow. That game perfectly defines everything I'm talking about right here. Like, that game is literally the definition of what this topic's all about. Because Star Ocean 3, I could say so much about that game, man. That is a game for people who want to theorycraft, for people who want to come up with hypotheses, hypothetical discussions. And that's it. That is one of the games out there, because like there's so much you could bring up with that game alone. And Valve Profile 2. I mean, I did an entire analysis talking about the game and its ending and everything else. And the thing I brought up, it wasn't factual. There's nothing factual about it. It was my own opinion and my own take, and it's probably not even right. Like, I was playing devil's advocate in a lot of ways, just simply because playing devil's advocate was more interesting, you know? When I said what I said in that video, I just wanted to make the topic more interesting. That's what I wanted to do, and that's exactly why I was playing devil's advocate. But people might not have known that. And I know I got a comment from someone who actually was like, they were kind of saying that they don't agree, and I told them, well, of course, you don't have to agree with me, that's the point. Like, the fact that you don't agree with what I'm saying isn't an issue. You know, the whole point is that you can think for yourself and have your own interpretation on it. There's no wrong answers. There's only your answer and my answer. And that's the beauty of Valve Profile 2. And that's the beauty of games that leave you with open-ended endings. Games that leave you with more questions than answers. There's beauty in that. And I think a lot of people need to realize that we need games like that. So maybe people should consider the fact that having open-ended endings, having things be left to the player's interpretation, is a good thing, and we should have more of it. You know? Because I feel that that's part of the fun of narrative. I don't see the fun of narrative if it's like, if there's only one, like, if it's stuck in place, like if there's only one answer that's allowed and no other answers. If you can only have one interpretation of it, then what's the point? You know? I want to think for myself. I want to make my own judgment on what's going on, you know? Because that's where the fun is. And I just feel that people are just anti-fun regarding this sort of stuff, you know? They don't want to have fun with it. They just want the facts. They just want all the information. And I feel that a lot of people, like, especially nowadays, they really don't want to, like, piece things together or think about things. They just want all the information. They want all the information just handed to them, and, like, they want to know everything. It's like, if there's questions, they want a sequel to explain the answers to those questions, you know? But when we get that sequel, there's no more questions. And what happens when there's no more questions? Well, then that's a moment of discussion that you could have had gone. You could have more, you would have had more to discuss had it not been for the game answering that question and giving that answer. And I feel that that's value lost. That's something that you could have had, but it was taken away from you. It was taken away from you because people wanted all the context. They wanted to know everything. But knowing everything isn't always the best thing. Sometimes it's better for things to be an enigma. Every time. I suck at this part. Okay, so now we've got the mandatory puzzle out of the way. Well, platforming section out of the way. We can get back to the topic. I failed that puzzle so many times. Like, that fucking platformer section so many times. I don't like that platforming section at all. It's really annoying. But, yeah, there's some there, something, I don't know, yeah. Either ways, yeah, let's get back to the topic. So, as I say, like, I feel that, like, there's so much value in not being told the whole story. And, as I say, Valkyrie Profile is one of the examples of that, of a game that doesn't tell you everything. And it benefits from that. You know, it benefits from being that. And I love that. I just like that fact. You know, like, does it really need to tell me everything? Not really. I mean, like, sometimes I question, do I actually want a sequel? I mean, would it tell me too much? I mean, there are certain things that I would like a sequel to, just simply because, well, you've got, like, 2 endings in the first game are just utter shite, and I'd like to have like maybe a slightly different resolution, maybe a continuation from ending C, not B, C, just simply so that we can get something else. And like that's really the only reason why, because of that. That's the only reason why a sequel would be good. But I don't even think that it would even work. I don't even because that's the thing. Like, that's up to the game developers. Would they even do that? Ideally, I'd want a game that leaves me with more questions than answers. If they made another Valk profile, I mean, that's the thing. Would they do that? That's a good question. But yeah, I mean, one thing I will say though is Star Ocean 6 absolutely did. So one thing I will definitely say that I really liked about Star Ocean, the Divine Force, like, it really brings you so many like questions. It just gives you more questions than it gives you answers, and I love that fact because it makes you have to think for yourself more about things, and it just means that there's more discussion to be had. You got to keep that. I feel that that's important, but a lot of people don't seem to value that. A lot of people just seem to value the facts. It's like when I talk about Warcraft 3, and I talk about how Tychondrius is clearly working for Kil'jaeden, and how he's basically Kil'jaeden is basically using the Skull of Gul'dan to control, to corrupt the World Tree and give Azeroth a slow, painful death, whilst also screwing over Archimonde so they can get while also getting one up on Archimonde so that he can as I say, surpass him, because they're both considered the leaders of the Legion and they're demons, so of course they're going to stab each other in the back. Well, at least Kil'jaeden is. I don't know if Archimonde's smart enough to do that, but yeah, because Archimonde was going to consume its power, but if he corrupts it, then it's probably going to kill him. And that's kind of what he wanted to do, whilst also destroying Azeroth. But he failed to do that because of Tychondrius. Now, people will say, hang on a minute, when in the game does it ever tell you that Tychondrius is working for Kil'jaeden? Now, if you own the Tychondrius action figure, which I do, the actual box of that action figure, believe it or not, actually confirms it. It actually says that... Hang on, is this going to lead... No, that's not there. Yeah, I'm going the wrong way. It actually says that Tychondrius serves Kil'jaeden directly. But it doesn't actually say it in the game. So people have questioned me all the time and say, that's not accurate to the lore because so-and-so, so-and-so said so-and-so, so-and-so. But, I mean, obviously, they do serve Archimonde's sword because he's the field commander, and obviously, he's the guy that they have to answer to on the field right then and then, and he can just kill them if, because that's the thing, Kil'jaeden isn't the guy constantly monitoring them right now, It's Archimonde, so if they fuck up, Archimonde's going to punish them, and they fear that. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they're working for Archimonde. Entirely. I mean, yeah, they are, temporarily, because they don't want to piss him off. But at the end of the day, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're entirely loyal to Archimonde. That just means that they fear him. They fear Archimonde. Who wouldn't? I mean, come on, Archimonde's strong. Archimonde's a bad motherfucker, and he's gonna fuck you up if he doesn't like you. Well, you're gonna be in for a rough time. He's ruthless, and he's one that you can't reason with. Whereas Kil'jaeden is reasonable, but he's far more cruel than Archimonde is. He's not. Let's put it this way. He likes to slowly torture people and make people suffer, whereas Archimonde just wants to kill you. But the thing is, ultimately, that despite the fact that the game never says it, it makes absolute sense when you consider the fact that Kil'jaeden knew about the Skull of Gul'dan through Ner'zhul, because he tortured Ner'zhul to make the Lich King, and Ner'zhul at one point did have the Skull of Gul'dan, so he knows the influence that it has, because Gul'dan was Kil'jaeden's pupil. So if anybody knows about the Skull of Gul'dan and what it could do, it's Kil'jaeden, not Archimonde, because Archimonde, he never knew anything about Gul'dan and his tuition of Gul'dan. So it's obvious that if anyone was like involved in the whole usage of the Skull of Gul'dan to corrupt the forests, it had to be Kil'jaeden. Who else could it be? I mean, you could argue Tichondrius, but let's be honest here. There's like Kil'jaeden's a mastermind. Like, he's the leader of the Dreadlords themselves. Like, he's a cunning mastermind, just like Tichondrius. Tichondrius is just carrying out his will, you know? Tichondrius is reliable, but I wouldn't really call him a mastermind. Tichondrius is just the guy who gets the job done. I mean, yeah, he is cunning, don't get me wrong. Like, all the Dreadlords are cunning in their own way, but none of them can match Kil'jaeden in terms of intellect. And Kil'jaeden is the most cunning of them all. He's the most intelligent of them all. You know? So it makes sense that he would be the mastermind of it all. He would be the ultimately be the primary strategist, and the Dreadlords are just carrying out his will. You know? But people don't see it that way because the game doesn't outright tell them. So when I say stuff like that, what I get from people in the Warcraft community is people will just be like, "Oh, you're wrong. Like, the law doesn't say this, so you're wrong. Just simply because the law doesn't say this. Stop spreading false information. You're bringing harm to the community by spreading false information." And I'm just like, are these people really this simple-minded that they can't think this through? I mean, it all adds up. Like, you don't have to even, like, that's the silly thing, like, it's common sense when you really think about it. Like, it all makes sense. It all adds up. It's obvious that it's Kil'jaeden. The game doesn't need to tell you that. It's just heavily implied that he is the guy. And those implications are all you need, but those implications require you to do a bit of thinking. And people aren't willing to do that. They just want a book that'll tell them everything and all the facts. They just want all the facts presented to them so that they can prove everybody wrong. And I just think that is just so simple-minded. But then again, this is the Warcraft community we're talking about, people. These people are the dumbest people on planet Earth, so, you know. But it does kind of annoy me how you've got a game that has, like, a game that does so many great things with the lore and stuff. It's just such a great story, and the community is just full of idiots. Like, the Warcraft community is just so fucking bad, it's embarrassing. You know? It's just horrendous. Like, I love the game and that lot, but the community just really sucks. The community is just one of the worst, and I despise the Warcraft community with a passion, and that's the main reason why. Like, I can't stand it when people just say you're wrong. I just can't stand it. Like, you know, I mean, sometimes it's necessary, but I don't feel that, like, it shouldn't be like the last, it should be, if anything, the last resort to what you should say, you know? In an argument, you know? You should instead just say, well, I think this. I think that, you know? And it's just really annoying, and I just really hate it when people do it. Like, there's nothing worse. But, yeah, I went the wrong direction. God damn it. Yeah. We're supposed to go from here. Right, there we go. So, now we can break this thing down. Like, these are the puzzles in this game. Thankfully, they are pretty straightforward. Like, if they weren't, then, yeah, I wouldn't be playing this game. But, yeah, puzzles and me don't get on. I don't think we ever will. Never really liked it ever. This is the fucking X-Seed that you can do. You can charge it up and stuff. You know. Yeah, that opens up like this thing here. And yeah, we can attack the chairs again. Because why not? Might as well get all of these chairs. And Streaker completely missed. Streaker is one of the worst moves ever. It really is. But yeah, like that's the thing. Like so many games that I like have open-ended endings. Not all games do, but you know, like I like my endings to be open-ended. That doesn't mean that I don't want to see content in my endings, absolutely not, but sometimes that's the case, you don't see much content, but oh well, like that's sometimes the byproduct of having an open-ended ending. But, you know, like, I'd rather just have more to talk about. That's kind of what I want out of my games, you know? I want more to talk about, I want more to say, I want more interesting stuff, you know? And I feel that, yeah, that's the thing. We've destroyed that, but we need to go over here now, don't we? But yeah, so at the end of the day, I think the main takeaway from this topic is that we shouldn't value facts too much. I understand that sometimes they're necessary. There are moments where you do need to like acknowledge facts and that you need to bring them into the discussion, but like people need to learn how to have fun and accept the possibilities that, you know, someone is right, you know? I mean, I know I shouldn't say this, but, you know, it's like all these flat earthers that have this belief that the earth is flat, you know? At the end of the day, like, you can say it's ludicrous all you want, but if people want to believe that, let them believe that, you know? It's just saying that they're wrong, like, you know, like, maybe just let them believe what they want to believe, you know? People want to believe that, and that's fine, but, you know, at the same time, you've also got to consider a few things. Like you've also got to consider the fact that, you know, if you're going to believe something or not believe something, you've also got to consider, you know, the people that are going to be involved in it or hurt by what you're saying. I do believe that's important to bring up as well. But, like, because there are going to be people that are hurt, like, saying certain things out loud that you believe can hurt people, but like when it comes to video games and stuff like this and law, it hurts nobody, you know? It really doesn't. Like people have always said that I'm like going out of my way to mislead people and, you know, with certain things. I mean, it's not like I did my Valk profile is dead video, like, you know, like, there could be the possibility that I'm wrong with that, but I challenged that possibility. In fact, you know why I said that? You know why I said Valk profile is dead? Because I wanted to be wrong. Why? Because I didn't want Valk profile to be dead. You know? But if Valk profile didn't die, then, you know, that's a good thing for me, isn't it? Because I get what I want one way or another. But I'd be wrong, you know? But I'd rather make that statement because it needed to be said at the time anyways, because people needed to see it from that perspective. They needed to like give up hope. Why? Because publishers benefit from people's hopes. When people are optimistic, publishers can take advantage of people's optimism and make them make stupid decisions. So I wanted to kill all that optimism so that people would essentially not fall prey to publishers' bullshit. But ultimately, I feel that everything's better when you don't expect it, you know? And that's one of the reasons why I'm a pessimist in a lot of ways, because I feel that being a pessimist is always better than being an optimist, you know? The reason why I'm cynical gaming blog people, you know, it's not because, like, I'm miserable and angry all the time and pissed off, no. It's because I like being cynical. I like being pessimistic. I like that. Why? because when I'm cynical and pessimistic, it means that I might as well do this. I don't know if I can actually do it though. No, I probably won't be able to do it. Right. Okay, I don't like Nero at all. I don't like his character at all. Wow. Right. I don't like how I have to, like, lock on. I have to do this. Then remove the lock on and do it again. It's so fucking awkward playing as this character. I do not like using Nero at all. Oh my god. I never liked the Devil Bringer at all. There we go. Just such an awkward thing, and I never actually got that one because I just do not like the Devil Bringer. That's simple. Devil Bringer was just... I mean, it's better than what they did in 5, I'll give it that, but yeah. In any case, yeah, we're gonna carry it. But yeah, like, I just wanted to say it really because I feel like it's important to bring this up. Like, there's just so many videos that I've done where, you know, I may have been wrong or said something stupid or said something wrong, but yeah, does it really matter? Like, people, I feel people are so petty nowadays, probably because they don't have anything else to worry about, probably because they don't have any real problems and they have to find something to bitch about. You know, that's what it's all about really, but it's just like, you know, why do we have to be so petty about these things? Why can't we just, like, just accept that people make mistakes, or, you know, like, and just, why do we have to value other people being wrong instead of, like, what people are really trying to say and what people really mean? People never pay attention to the meaning, they always pay attention to the things that don't matter, and it annoys me. It's just like, you know, I'll do a video, and what are people's takeaway from the video? Oh, like, the audio is bad, or, oh yeah, like, I think the recent one was like, oh, the video was stretched, you know, you stretched the PS2 game so all the characters look fat and the text looks too big. Like, I'm triggered by that. Like, don't ever make a video again that has, like, don't ever stretch a PS2 game ever again. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Like, I did an entire video reviewing a video game, you know, and your main takeaway was that? Get a life. Seriously, if you're gonna be that person, I'm just gonna shadow ban you immediately. I don't care if you're trying to be helpful, give me advice. I don't give a shit. I'm shadow banning you immediately, because all you're doing is just being a cunt. You're not helping anybody out. You're not helping me out. You're just being annoying. Like, it's so infuriating that that's what people's takeaway is when people leave me these unsolicited advice and just say, hey guys, I watch your videos all the time, I've seen all of your videos, I'd really appreciate if you did this one thing, it would make your videos so much better. And it's just like, I hate people that do that. Why? Because they're not taking anything away from the video besides that, and they're lying to my face, because what videos have you watched then? And why did you not comment on those videos beforehand? Why have I not seen you before? Why are you only speaking up now? Why are you only saying this shit now when it's probably been a problem for all my previous videos? You know? It's just because you want to be a smart-ass and you just want to be annoying. That's literally the only reason why you said it. You know? Sorry, I just wanted to rant about this because it's starting to get annoying now. All these people that are fucking smart-asses. Just like, fucking make videos yourself if you think you know what you're doing. Like, I welcome it. You know, I'm always receptive to people getting into the YouTube game, you know, and trying it out for themselves, you know. There's nothing hard about it. It's easy to make YouTube videos. I mean, you can make it hard for yourself, but it's also pretty easy. I mean, all I'm doing right now is just talking in a microphone, you know, and just walking around playing Devil May Cry 4. It's not rocket science. I mean, can it be hard? Yes, but only if you do it in a certain way, you know? And if I have to follow all the rules that everybody sets for me, then I'm just going to have a miserable time. And a lot of people seem to not remember that I don't get paid for this shit. Like, I'm not getting paid to be miserable, so why should I be miserable for everybody? Like, I just want to have fun, you know? I just want to have fun playing a game the way I want to play a game. You know, and I want to have fun making a video the way I want to make a video, but people don't seem to understand that. They seem to think that they're the experts. And the thing about it is people tell me to do things, but when I ask them how to do it, they never respond. Which just shows to you that these people are never fans. Like one guy that asked me a question on my, one guy that told me what to do on my Pokemon Colosseum video, like get better audio or whatever, like get rid of the echo in this room, which, yeah, you're hearing this echoey voice now, unfiltered, pure echoey voice. Like, I can't help the fact that I have an echoey room, people. I have tried to solve this problem, but I can't seem to find a way. I've been looking into it, looking into how I can fix it with Audacity. I mean, I'm not using Audacity now, I'm using OBS, so it's worse. You're hearing peak echo. But, you know, I haven't got an answer. And it kind of pisses me off that I actually bothered to buy this microphone in the first place. You know? I wish I didn't. I wish I stuck with my fucking headset mic just so I could piss these people off more. You know? But here we are. I actually decided to listen to people and fucking buy a fucking new microphone. And what do I get for it? More complaints. More people complaining. You know? And yeah, I have had these complaints before. It's just like, these people are fucking annoying. And like, if you're a YouTube content creator, you shouldn't put up with it either. You know, ban these people immediately. Don't listen to these people. I mean, if you want to listen to these people, I guess you can listen to them all you want if you want to, but, you know, don't let them rule your life. Don't let them rule your entire career or your YouTube, your time on YouTube. Don't let them ruin the fun. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. You know? Especially if you're not doing this as a career. Like, if you're doing this for fun, have fun. Do it your way. You know? People need to get out of this mentality that YouTube is a career. People need to get out of this. I know that some people, you know, want to do YouTube as a career for some reason. I think they're pretty insane if they do, because YouTube is not really a good career choice because it's a platform that could go away any day, you know? It's not really a good long-term investment is YouTube. You have to go beyond that. But yeah, people are so simple-minded that nowadays that they'll think, oh, YouTube is like, it's a good career. No, YouTube isn't a career. You have to build a career around YouTube. You know, YouTube's just a tool used to like expand on one's career. That's all it is. It's not a career. You know, people need to find that out. They need to realize it. But yeah, they don't, unfortunately. And that's why you have problems. You know? So yeah, this is... As you can see, this is the bale or whatever. But right now, there's not really much going on. I'm trying to wait for the other guy to show up, but he's not showing up yet. Oh, he will now. Oh no, it's not. I've not got to that point yet, have I? Yeah. But yeah, it says the frog boss. There we go. He's here. And yeah, we have to fight this guy now, and he's going to. Yeah. Gonna shoot out some ice. Oh, of course, I was late to that jump, wasn't I? I always am. I don't like using Nero. Like, I like to use Dante because he has like the trickster dodge, which is trickster air dodge, which would be really handy if I had that there. Then I wouldn't have to rely on jumping to avoid attacks. I hate that. when I have to use jumps to avoid shit. But with Nero you have to, and it's so annoying. Really obnoxious. Like, once you go down tier, you can't go back, you know? Nero is just so... Like, he's just so fucking jank to play, as I find. Yes, you can do, like, the side dodge, but the problem is, when you do forward and back, you do that. You do it in the air. It's so annoying, man. And yeah, he's going to reverse and not do anything, so I just shoot him until, you know, he goes away, and then the other people will show up. So yeah, that's the thing. But yeah, as I say, I just feel that people in the community can be really annoying to deal with sometimes, and you know, it's just a real pain when this is what I get when I'm trying to send a message or trying to make a video that's informative, and people takeaway is that I'd rather people not comment if that's all they're gonna say, you know. I really would, because it's not constructive in the slightest. It's just annoying. That's all it is. You know? And now he's going to do his breath attack, I guess. Yeah, there we go. And I completely missed him with that move. Yeah, this is one of those fights that's so much easier with Dante. So much easier, because Nero does not fight him very well. Ah, yes. There we go, we can actually hit him with that now. Right. We can actually, now if not to mount, we can actually use the freaking hand, like, arm thing. There we go. I'm not close enough? Oh my god, this is why I hate his arm, like, trying to get close to him. This is such a pain, man. It's like, really? You have to be right next to the guy. It's just an absolute nightmare. But yeah, I've reached that point where I just know where I stand with this platform. I know where I stand with YouTube now. You know, I get it. I get what people think about me. There's a lot of people that don't like me. And there's a few people that get along with me, you know? And that's fine, you know? I understand that there's people that like what I do and there's people that don't like what I do, and I understand that. It's always the case, you know? But I'm not trying to attract the masses. I'm not trying to, you know, get big from this. You know, it's never really the agenda. I wanted to get a following that appreciated me for what I do. That's what I wanted. You know, I wanted to get a following, yes, I did, but you know, I didn't want to get a huge following just for the sake of getting a huge following, or just for the sake of making money on YouTube. I mean, yeah, if I made a bit of money on YouTube, it would be nice, but you know, I'm not looking to make it a career, you know, because it never will happen, you know, like I would never want it to be my career, because I know what it would take for it to be my career, and I won't want to go in that direction. And to be honest, it's not really a profession that I've really sought after. You know, I don't really have a passion for YouTube. I have a passion for video games, and I use YouTube as a tool to talk about video games, because apparently my blog isn't sufficient enough to do so. So yeah, that's why I'm here, people. I'm not interested in YouTube at all. I'm interested in gaming. I'm interested in talking about games. I'm interested in making gaming content. That's why I'm here on YouTube. I don't care about video creation. I care about talking and speaking my mind and having a voice. But video creation is how I have to do it. So I do it. Do I try and find fun in doing so by doing fun edits? Yeah, sure. But is the editing process as a whole tedious? It can be. Is the recording process tedious? Absolutely. So yeah, because of that, that's why I'm here. But anyways, I'm done with this game for now, and I'm done with this discussion. So yes, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all later.